Okay, so I'll just open the Excel file where we have stopped yesterday. So we started looking into the different commands which we have in SQL Server. Okay, so they were DDL, DML, DCL, and TCL. So with DDL, we have started. The full form of DDL is Data Definition Language. In that data definition language, we have used yesterday two commands. So one was related to create. So when we say create, that means you can use create to create the database. And that was, we have created the database with the name SQL Learning. Okay. Again, similarly, create statements we have used to create a table. So create table name, where the table name would be the name of the particular table which you want to add to the database. Okay, so the statement is create table name, immediately open the bracket and then close the bracket, just that you don't miss the steps. And after that, when you declare the table name, you have to start declaring the column names. So here we have seen column 1 along with the data type of the column. Okay, similarly we have defined column 2 and then the data type of the column 2, right? After that, these two compulsory situations when we are adding, that is the column name, and the mandatory part here is adding the data type for that column name. After that, we have seen what do you mean by constraints. So constraints was like when you want to add the rules to the table, not table exactly, but the columns in the table. So it's like when you add the rules, when you add the restriction, like how the data should be inserted, what kind of a data should be inserted, that is how you have to add the constraints. So in that constraints, we have seen, I think, 3 to 4 constraints. So that were null. Okay. After that, we had not null. So one was null. Then we seen not null. Then we have seen what is the primary key. Okay. And after that, foreign key is what the last topic we have ended the session. Okay. So any questions we have till here? No, ma'am. Okay, all good. Okay. Now please open your setups of SQL Server. Just connect the data. Okay. When you connect the data, after doing this, add new query, open new query, and then fire the statement which says select star from department and select star from employees. Okay. So let us see. I think we have created a department table as well. Na? So let us execute both the tables. So write the query select star from table. Okay. Write the query. Now, before you execute the query, just make sure the database which is selected under the drop down. So what is the database we have? Master is the one which is created by default. So when you execute this query, okay, let's try doing it. So if your database is running as masters in this particular section, and if you try to execute the query by pressing F5 or by hitting the button execute, okay, sometimes we might get to see the data. Okay, for me, why am I getting to see the data? Because there is some data in the master table. But if you see what was the original column which we have designed yesterday, it has, I think, the salary, employee ID, employee name, city. But this is some another table which is popping up here. So what we have to do, we have to make sure we are going to the exact database which is being created. So the name of the database for my application is test table. Okay, so let us see what is the exact name in the test table. Is it employee or employees? So how do you check it? Go to database. Under the database, go to the section that is test table. Under test table, I'm going and checking the name of the table. So the name of the table here is employees. Okay, and then execute it. So when you have only single query on the query page, there is no need to select it. But when you have multiple queries, you have to make sure that you select the query and then you execute it. So now if I select the query which says select star from employees, I'm able to see the 4 columns: employee ID, employee name, city, and salary. Let's do the same thing for department table. So select star. What do you mean by star? क्या होता है स्टार का मीनिंग?
It's selecting all the
Correct.
columns.
Correct. So star means selecting everything. But if you do not want to have everything, you want to have a specific. So you can just replace that star with the names of the column. with a comma separation. And now with the help of select statements, you can execute multiple select statements together. So if you see, I've done the same thing. मैंने दोनों को साथ में execute किया. But when you do creating, we generally avoid creating multiple databases or multiple tables together. We follow it step by step. Insertion, today when we'll see insertion, because if you see the tables and the columns, data is blank. There is no data. So when we insert it, I'll tell you 2-3 ways of inserting the data. In insertion also हम बहुत सारे insertion साथ में कर सकते हैं. Select में भी बहुत सारे select साथ में execute कर सकते हैं. But basically when we create, we do it step by step. Okay. So I hope you all are able to execute both the statements, and this is how you can see the blank data for each of the column here. Okay. Now let's move to the topic where we need to insert the data. So what do you mean by insertion? So when I come to the next statement here, which says DML, this is your DDL. So I'm just writing the name here, DDL, putting this in center. And now we are working with DML. So this is going to happen. Some queries, some commands we are going to pick up from DML. Some commands we are going to put it from DML. So combination. ऐसे पूरा exactly ऐसे नहीं चलेगा कि सारा DDL का cover करो then DML का. No, you have to take the combinations of all the 4 of them. Some queries will be from DML, कुछ DDL से. DCL is something different. We should not combine. Again, TCL is different. But with the first two, DDL data definition language, DML डेटा मैनिपुलेशन. नाउ क्रिएशन आपको पता है कि आपने DDL में क्या किया, डेटा को डिफाइन किया, डेटाबेस को डिफाइन किया, टेबल को डिफाइन किया. यू आर डिफाइनिंग द स्ट्रक्चर, यू आर डिफाइनिंग द स्केलेटन. दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस यस्टरडे. नाउ when you want to define the data, आप डेटा के साथ में चेंजेस करते हो, that part of command in your databases is known as DML. So as I mentioned yesterday also, when you're learning these statements, when you're learning these fundamentals of command languages, it is same for all the databases. Okay. So DML stands for data manipulation. Now in this data manipulation, we are going to use the first command, that is insert. INSERT, insert. Now, as the name says, insert, how this is going to help you. So now my data of a table is blank. My columns are blank. So when I want to add the data, with the help of insert statement, we can do the same. Okay. So now I'll just pick up this insert at the bottom line here so that I can put 2-3 statements more about DML. So you know the definition and the full form, data manipulation language. Now why it is used? So it is used for accessing and making the data, like modification, making some changes to the data. So as simple, I can write it if you want to for access, and then if you want to manipulate data, where data in the database. Okay, so basically what it means, you can also quote a statement here. DML can also be used to handle the user request. So it handles the user request. Now, some of the commands which we have for DML is, I'll just write few of them, but we'll start with the insert command. So we have the option to insert. We have the option to update. Manipulation कर रहे हो, आप changes कर रहे हो. That means आपके पास data already है, आप वो data में change कर रहे हो. So insert कर रहे हो, जो आपने insert किया और वो exist कर रहा है table में. Now you can update. Now when you can update, you also have the permission to delete the data. So we are inserting, we are updating, at the same time we are deleting. So these 3 statements fall under the DML commands: insert, update, delete. So insert means it is just used to insert data in a table. Update means again it is used to update existing data with the table, within a table. Data already insert kiya hai, that you want to update. And delete means it is used to delete all the records from the table. So let's see if I just write single word here just to make it understandable. So insert is used to, let's say, insert data into a table. Now this will not be a database. This is related to data inside a table. Now update means it is used to update already existing data. So it will update existing data within a table and delete. Okay, so usually we have three statements which goes together. So when we say delete, we have draw, and when we say draw, we have truncate. So this is one of the very common and very important interview question. What is the difference between delete, drop, and truncate? So when we move forward, when I explain you all three of them individually, then I'll explain you कि तीनों में difference क्या होता है. Okay, so now first we'll just talk about delete. So delete is used to delete all records from a table. So what it does, it will delete, all is important here, it delete all the records from a table. Okay, so that's how it goes. Now let's start with insert. So before we go to insert, we will just try to understand what is the statement for it. And when we see the statement, then we'll go to practical insertion of the data into a table. So how does the syntax looks like? I'm just typing it here as syntax. Even you, for a safer side, you can start putting a syntax, make a note somewhere. Okay, so the syntax looks like this: insert into. So how do I also remember? Because I also keep on working with multiple databases. Now multiple databases have the same fundamentals, same basics, but few of the databases which are recently launched in the market, their way of statement writing is a little different. They mean the same, the result will be same, but thoda syntax में थोड़ा difference है, आगे पीछे है. So how you remember it, basically what you want to do, you want to insert the data. Now where you want to insert the data, I want to insert the data into a table. So that's how you will write here, insert into table. Correct? आपको data कहाँ insert करना है? I want to insert the data into table. But what do you have in a table? How is a table formed? Table में क्या क्या होता है? What do we have in a table?
Columns.
Correct. Columns we have. So insert into table name, that is the name of the table, department, employees. But where do you want to insert? So open bracket. Immediately we would like to close the bracket. Now in this insertion, you are using the column name. Column name 1, column name 2, column name 3. Now this should follow the sequence. आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हो. Column 2, column 3, column 1. No, it has to follow the sequence. Now, if somebody has a question, let's say मुझे column 1 में कुछ data insert ही नहीं करना है, should I still follow the sequence? So the answer is yes. Even if you want to keep the data for column 2 as blank, column 1 as blank, आपको sequence वही follow करना पड़ेगा. Okay, so insert into table, but where into table? Into the column name, that is column 1, column 2. Okay, so I think we'll just put column 1, column 2 and column 3, closing the bracket here. Okay, now what exactly you want to insert? You want to insert the values. So here you will write the values. Now values will follow the same process, that is value 1, value 2, and then value, you will be putting here value 3. Okay, so just pick up the statement. I'm picking up the statement and putting that statement into the databases. So try.
Ma'am, these values are the values which we are going to change, right?
Correct, which you are going to add in the column.
Okay.
Oh, okay, just write it, then we'll change it. Okay, so I hope you have written the data here. Now, let's try to change this. So what is the name of the first table? The name of the first table is employees. So when you write EMP, the table should come in the drop down. Just pick it up from your employees. Open bracket, name of the columns. So what is the name of the column? The very first column you can see at the bottom here. And that is why I have executed both the tables together. मैंने ये दोनों स्टेटमेंट साथ में एग्जीक्यूट इसीलिए किए ताकि आपको दिखाई दे कि कौन से कॉलम्स है, उनका सीक्वेंस कैसे. So for the employees table, the first column is EMP underscore ID, which you will get in the drop down. So always make it a habit that you pick it from the drop down. So there is no spelling mistake. There are no errors. So similarly, we are using the second name of the column, that is employee name. This is my employee name. Then the third, we have EMP city. Yes, you have to follow the sequence here. And then last, we have the salary. So after giving the sequence of the column, we would try to add the values. Now, for employee ID, I'm just putting it, let's say 101. Now 101 is the number, correct? So that number will be added just manually. There should not be single quotations or double quotations. But whenever you write the names, textual data, string data jo hai, that has to be in your quotation. So what do you mean by quotations here? Employee name. So let's say if I'm taking the employee name as Charlie, okay, should open with a single quotation. Name I'm putting as Charlie and close the quotation. And that is how the text value or the string values are addressed in the databases. Maybe in Oracle, you might have double quotations. In Snowflake, you might have single quotation. So this might vary. This changes can vary. But then whenever you have numbers, numbers will always be without quotation. So similarly, we have name of the city. So city is a string. So let's say if I want to put the city as maybe Pune. So I'm putting it Pune, comma separation. Then I have the salary. Now salary is again a number. So if I'm putting the salary as maybe 10,000, there should not be a open quotations there, just the number. Okay. Once you are done with this, just select the statement, execute it. And it says at the bottom, just try to read the outputs. The output says one row has been affected. Okay, so you want to do a double check with the help of queries whether a row is being actually added or not. We got the output कि एक row affect हुआ है, एक row में कुछ changes किया है. But if you want to go and check it, so we have this handy query. Which query we call as handy query? That is the select query, right? So where did we add the data? We added the data to employees table, and that is how we are just selecting the statement which says select star from employees and execute it. So when you execute it, you should see one row has been added. And now if I tell you the theory part, when I made the statement like your insert statements are used to handle the user request. And that is what the request we have done here. We have asked for the data from the employees table, and that is how we have the resultant sets here. Okay, just let me know if you're able to get it. हो रहा है, एग्जीक्यूट हुआ, डेटा इंसर्ट हुआ.
Yes.
Yes.
For others, see, if you don't tell, I will not understand. I will go with the flow. I want to make sure कि सब कुछ समझ में आ रहा है, because बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स अभी 2 महीने और निकालने हैं. So just make sure हम लोग स्लो भी जा रहे हैं, right? So just make sure कि आपको समझ रहा है. कहीं भी नहीं समझ रहा है, let me know. We can stop. I can re-explain you. Okay, but just make sure even if you're not conveying me the message कि आपको समझ रहा है, ठीक है? Okay, ठीक है. I hope you are done with the first statement. Let's write the second statement as it is. Now for the second statement, we will be copying the same. Okay, Control C. Immediately I'm doing Control V. Control C, Control V. Fine. Okay, again we are inserting one more row to the table, that is employees. Within the employees table, we are using this columns to add the data. Now, the way I mentioned, my employee ID is the unique ID, which I am now referring as a primary key. So primary key, किसी column को अगर primary key बनना है, what are the rules? The rules are, for example, if employee ID is acting as a primary key, or the employee ID wants to refer the column to be a primary key. In that cases, the column of employee ID have to satisfy 2 rules. The first rule is the data in that column should be unique. So that actually means you cannot repeat 101 once again. So unique means the second name of the second number of the employee would be 102. Let's say if the name is Charlie, doesn't matter, but then the employee ID should be different, so it is unique, right? At the same time, you cannot keep it blank. ये null नहीं हो सकता है. So you need to satisfy this combination for the column to be a primary key of the table. It should not be null. Okay, it should be unique. So we are not keeping it null and we are keeping it unit. That is 102. Now let's say if I'm changing the name as Cleven, Cleaven, Cleven, and the location is, let's say, Mumbai. This time it is Mumbai, and salary I'm changing it to, let's say, 2,500 or 25,000, whatever you want. Okay, and just execute it. Okay, so before executing it, we'll do it one more time. अभी दो statements साथ में लिखते हैं और दोनों को execute करते हैं. Okay, so I'm adding one more employee here. Let's say with the name 103. Now the name is Jolly. Okay, the location is, let's say, Bangalore, and the salary is 3 lakhs maybe. And now execute all three of them together. तीनों को साथ में execute करो. Sorry, दोनों को execute. Press on the button execute. Now go to select statement. Okay, I think this is executed. You got the message. Now go to select star from employees, and from there see if the data is added to the column or not. Okay, just do it till here. I'll wait for you. Okay, you are done till here. Execute किया table.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Data दिख रहा है ना? Fine. Now let us add one more data here, but I'll tell you different way of adding it. This is the first way of adding it, where you're exactly writing the entire statement. Insert into employees, then the columns of the employees and the values. Now second shortcut I'll tell you here. Again, copy the entire statement.
Ma'am, what if there are 20 entries? So I would have to write this 20 times, right?
Columns, yes. I'll tell you
Yes.
I'll tell you one shortcut now. Wait, how you will be doing it. See, so now what you will do is, see, this is insert into employees table, that you have to mention it. This employee columns which you have, this you can skip the part. Let us skip it. Isko pura remove kar do. Even if you skip it, that should work. Directly use the statement as insert into employees and then the values. Okay, see, your query is still working fine. दिख रहा है इसमें insert into employees. Employees ने हमारे पास में क्या है, columns है, तो आपने सारे columns के नाम नहीं दिए तो भी चलेगा. I'm just telling you multiple ways of doing it. ठीक है, अब मैंने क्या किया, columns पूरे हटा दिए, open bracket of the column, close bracket of the column, both are removed. You're directly jumping from insert into employees table और values insert कर रहे हो आप, क्योंकि sequence तो आप follow करने ही वाले हो. Now let's make it 104. The name of the person is, let's say, Mike. The city is, again, I think, let's change it to Chennai. And salary is maybe 450000. Fine. This is the second way of doing it without writing the column names. After that, once we execute this, I'll tell you the third and the easiest way of doing it. So now when you have 20 columns, 30 columns, how you can do it more quickly? So first execute it. Once you execute it, you can see one row has been affected. After that, just run your handy query, that is select star from employees. ये हमेशा query आपके पास रहना ही चाहिए. Select star from employees, select star from department. Because what will happen is, if you go to tables, that is department, यहाँ पे भी आपको columns दिखेंगे, but you will not be able to see the values of the data in that column. So you need to execute this with the help of a query. So finally, you should have 4 records in the employees table, starting from 101 to 104. Just let me know once you are ready with these 4 records in the table. We'll move to the third step of inserting data. So maybe first day you will feel कि queries है, but by the time we cover more topics, more sessions, you should be familiar with this insert because हम लोग बहुत बार करने वाले insertion, deletion. So initial time you might feel कि इतना code याद रखना पड़ रहा है. नहीं, there is no need to remember the code. If you just follow this story, what do you want to do in a column? You want to insert. तो मैंने insert लिख दिया. कहाँ पे insert करना है? Employee table में. So insert into employee table. But employee table में exactly what you want to insert? I want to insert the values. Columns को आप skip कर दो. So insert into employee tables and you want to insert the values. इसीलिए आपने keyword लिखा values. All these are keywords. Values into, they are keywords and they are predefined. That is why the color is blue. Okay. The name of the tables are defined by the user. That's why they are black. And then we have this values in a order, sequential order. अगर आपको मुंबई नहीं देना है city का नाम, आपको पता ही नहीं कि employee का city क्या है, you can keep it blank. Only the primary key column should not be blank. Others can be kept as blank. Now, one more important point here. Wherever you have string values, that always comes in quotations. Other data would be in the form of normal numbers. And now when we have higher date, हम लोग जब date को भी insert करते हैं table में, वो भी आपके single quotations में आता है. तो कुछ database में single quotation रहेगा dates के लिए, कुछ database में it might take directly like a number. Okay, so make some space here and just let me know if I can move with the next data insertion. ठीक है, okay. I hope you are done. नहीं हुआ तो मुझे बोलो, I can wait. So let's move to next step. Next is the shortcut of inserting data directly. So now what you do is take your cursor to the left hand side where you have DBO, database object dot employees. Do a right click here. Okay, after doing a right click, we see the option which says edit top 200 rows. So click on this, the fourth option, edit top 200 rows. Okay, this is the panel which should open and your queries will be on the next page, and a new query tab, or you can say a new panel, will open where you can make changes to the data. You can add, you can remove, you can modify. Is this opening for everybody?
Yes.
Correct. Right click on employees, click on top 200 rows. Now, this is the quickest way of adding the data. So what you want to do, I want to add the employee name 105. He just joined my company. The name of the employee is, let's say, Rosel, Roselle. Rosel. You can put any names you want. I'm just adding the names of my managers. It is easy to remember. So I'm adding their names. And then the city this time is your Hyderabad. Okay, and let's say आपको salary null रखना है, you can keep it null, but I would just like to add some salary here. And once you are done with this, click enter. Okay, I think enter nahi, yes, click enter. So you will come to second position and see the data is inserted here. This tables, you can just separate the data here. Table में जो data है column wise, you can separate it a little bit. If they are not visible, just keep your pointer on this salary header of the employees. You have this pointer which will help you to get the data better visibility. Okay, if you want to add one more, you're free to add it. Just double click this null, add 106, tab. Up tab press करोगे तो भी चलेगा. You don't need to put the cursor again and again. Press tab, tab will work. Name is, let's say, maybe Reena. Again, press the tab on your keyboard. City I am not putting. I'm not sure with the city. Salary I'm putting it like 234500. Okay, and again press a tab. Achha, the row was updated. What it is saying? Okay, let's put enter. The data in row was not committed. Okay, cannot find the error. The data in row 6 was not committed. Framework city. Okay. Okay, see, अभी देखो यहाँ पे एरर आ रहा है. I think for city we have mentioned not null. तो वो null नहीं होना चाहिए. When we are keeping it null, it is not allowing you to move from this without adding some data. So जिस column पे आपने constraint डाल के रखा है, not null, null. So if it is not null, you have to specify the data. You cannot leave it blank. So I'm repeating the city here as Pune. Now doing tab, tab, or enter. Okay, you should be able to do it till here. Now, once you move from this page to the actual query page, your data should be added. Otherwise, if you want to be double sure add hua hai ya nahi, you can go to this query designer button. When you click it, we have the option which says execute SQL. That means आपने जो data add किया उसको execute करो. But this is absolutely not required. But if in case data is not getting added, so I'm telling you the another way of doing it. आपने data add किया, आप जाके देख रहे हो select star from employees table, data ही नहीं दिख रहा है. So you can again come back to top 200 rows. You can click on query designer, execute. But 99.99% without using this option, the data will still be added to the original table. Okay. Now, how do you come out of this section? Forget about this pane. Come to the original pane here and find the handy query, execute it to see if we have two more rows added for two different employees. So when I execute it, see, we have 105 Rosal, 106 Reena, respectively for Hyderabad, Pune, and their salaries. Okay, are we good till here? Then we'll move next. So now if you have a question like which should we follow the first one जहाँ पे हम employee के table भी बता रहे हैं, column भी बता रहे हैं, so should we follow that or should we just remove the name of the employee and just start typing the values? So I would tell you the second option. मैंने पहला भी दिखाया because you should know कि अलग अलग वे से कैसे insert होता है. First is also okay, but the way I think somebody had a question, what if we have 20 columns? So it's a tedious work. 20 बार columns के name लिखो, फिर data insert करो. So it is only one time activity जैसे हम लोगों ने किया था. Write the statement once, copy paste. आपको फिर सिर्फ numbers change करने हैं. But then why to do this much also? So हम लोग projects पे फिर क्या करते हैं? We don't write the employee column names. Directly we start inserting the values. Or the other way of doing it, go to the table directly and start the insertion. Okay. But then usually we would be doing this with the help of queries only. Direct insertion depend karta hai. If we are in hurry, quickly data load karna hai, in that cases. Otherwise, most of the time you will be going with the query statements. And just because you all are beginner to your database application, I would recommend you कि आप query के through करो initially. And then when you are familiar with the commands, syntaxes, आप assignments कर लोगे, then you can use these shortcuts. So this is for future references. Okay. Now just adding more to this point, we can also load Excel files directly into your databases. So what do I mean? What do I mean by that? So for example, if you consider this as one Excel, ये एक Excel है. अब ये Excel में फिर से data है. Product, model, customer, profit, loss, सारा कुछ है, right? Multiple columns. So अब ये data आपको SQL में या कोई database में import करना, how will you do it? आप manually तो इतने table नहीं बनाओगे, जहाँ पे data lakhs में है, right? 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. In that cases, we have to follow some 7 to 8 steps with the help of which you can directly get the data of your Excel into the tables of your, what we say, this particular SQL server. So ye developers usually nahi karte, you get it done from the admin because there are multiple processes. But then yes, that is also one way of doing it. So we don't follow it regularly because client side pe kya hota hai, you always have the database created. Let's say if I'm working from a pharma client, pharmaceutical client hai, and I'm working for them. So they always have the data ready. They always have the database ready. In this database, सारा कुछ tables सारा रखा होता है. Then what is your work? SQL developers क्या करते हैं? What do people like you and me will do? We will go to the database. हमें उसका access मिलेगा. Access उसी का क्यों मिलेगा? Because we have 4 tables here and 4 databases here. For this 4 databases, you can open them, but you will not be able to fire the query. अब आप Cochex learning में के tables देख सकते हो. देखो, if I open it here, If I go to tables, I can see the table structure here. कौन से columns है, tables है. But when I write the statement select star from this table, people or maybe users, आप देख नहीं पाओगे because it is restricted. Your ID जो आपका official ID होगा, उसको access सिर्फ एक ही database का मिल रहा है, correct? और वो database में सारे tables रहेंगे, data रहेगा. अब आपको वो अलग-अलग tables को study करना है. Many a times one database can have 30, 40, 50 plus table. आपको सारों को study नहीं करना है. Sometimes they will come and tell you, these are some 15, 20 tables. You study, understand कि data में क्या है, tables में क्या रखा हुआ है, how you can connect this multiple tables together. So data analytics में main चीज यही होता है, understanding the data, understanding the domain, आप कितना समझ पाते हो, data को कैसे relate कर पाते हो एक table को दूसरे table से. So this is how you make the connection, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं data modeling. That means data को लेके आते हैं और अलग अलग टेबल से कनेक्ट करते हैं. Now do you really need to connect one table with other table? So the answer is yes. I mean 50-50 it is yes. अगर आपको दोनों टेबल में से डेटा पिकअप करना है तो आपको कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, right? But if you want to make one table work as isolated, अकेले ही उस पे आपको डेटा अंडरस्टैंड करना है, उस पे चार्ज बनाने हैं, डेवलपमेंट करना है, even that is okay. So that's how you have multiple tables to access to the client side. वो मल्टीपल टेबल आप पूरे टीम मिलके स्टडी करते हो, एनालाइज करते हो, एंड देन यू फिगर इट आउट कि ओके इस यूनिट में ऐसा डेटा है, हाउ वी कैन बिल्ड अप द डैशबोर्ड, इस डेटा का कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं. सो इट इज नॉट ऑलवेज लर्निंग द डेटा, इट इज अबाउट in projects like how you can give more insights of the data to the client. Reports तो कोई भी बना लेगा. It is not a very difficult thing. The difficult part here is data को समझना, analyze करना. After that, users also are creating dashboards in Excel. Then why will they come to you, pay such high amount for the licenses of Power BI, Tableau? वो तो Excel में report बनी रही है because capacity ज्यादा है इन tools के पास में. ये tools advanced है, interactivity अच्छा है. At the same time, ये tools are also helping you to provide more insights so that users can take better decisions of the data, right? तो आपको सिर्फ ये tables उठा के reports नहीं बनाने उसके ऊपर, आपको ये check करना है कि आप जब reports बना के दोगे user को, dashboards बना के दोगे, how it will help them to make their business better, कैसे improvise कर सकते हैं. Because the way I said, चार्ट बनाना इज नॉट अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट थिंग, एनीबडी कैन डू इट. जिसको टूल समझ के ही कैन डू इट. बट मेन रिक्वायरमेंट यहाँ पे ऐसा है कि आपके डेटा अंडरस्टैंडिंग से, आपने जो डेटा में कनेक्शन बनाया डिफरेंट टेबल्स में, वो कनेक्शन से आपने कोई रिपोर्ट बनाया है, वो रिपोर्ट यूजर को कैसे हेल्प कर रही है उसका रेवेन्यू बढ़ाने के लिए, ओके, कम टाइम में बेटर पब्लिसिटी करने के लिए, मार्केटिंग करने के लिए. दैट इज व्हाट द मेन रिक्वायरमेंट इज. वेयर दे आर फॉलिंग शॉर्ट, उन्होंने और कौन से डिसीजंस लेने चाहिए, कौन से स्टेप्स. सो ये पूरा स्टोरी आपके डेटा ने कन्वे करना चाहिए. एंड दैट इज व्हाई यू टेक मोर टाइम इन रियल टाइम प्रोजेक्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड. आप ज्यादा टाइम जो है, सपोज 3 महीने का प्रोजेक्ट है फॉर एग्जाम्पल, दैट इज द मिनिमम टाइम. सो लेट्स से इनिशियली 3-4 वीक्स आप डेटा में डालते हो, यू अंडरस्टैंड द डेटा, फिर आपका नेक्स्ट स्टेप्स इज लाइक अगेन फॉलोड. So that's how it happens. So that is why also your SQL server is important, क्योंकि आपका Excel इतना फाइल हैंडल नहीं कर सकता है, डेटा हैंडल नहीं कर सकता है. And then the huge data, historical data is dumped to your databases. Okay. So now what we'll do is we will gradually add data to the department table also. So you can just add a line here. It's a separator basically. तो ये ऊपर वाला जो है वो सारा एम्प्लॉइज वाला हो गया, नीचे हम डिपार्टमेंट के टेबल में डेटा इंसर्ट कर रहे हैं. सो लेट्स डू इट वन मोर टाइम. इंसर्ट इनटू टेबल. सो टेबल नेम हियर इज डिपार्टमेंट. Immediately close bracket, open bracket. That's how I remember. Okay. Insert into department. There's an error here. I think it is departments. Yes, it is departments for me. See what names you have put in. Okay, no, it is department only for me. I can see it here, department. Okay, so maybe this is the error because नीचे हमने कुछ add नहीं किया है. Next. What shall we add it here? So we will like to first see the structure of the data here. Select star from department. Let us see what data we have. अगर आपको ये सारा remove करना है ना, you can remove it because they are already executed. You can remove it. But if you want to keep it for your reference, you keep it. I have removed it. आपको reference के लिए रखना है, रखो. Otherwise, go to a new query tab. Click on new query. आपके नए query पे आप department का data add करना start कर सकते हो. There is no requirement कि आपको एक ही sheet में सारा कुछ करना है. You can keep on adding new query, but इतने भी new queries मत open करना कि difficult हो जाए आपके लिए. Just open one tab and start inserting data for department. Insert into department. So the first column of department, देखो, here you can see at the bottom. So department ID. So हमने 101 तो use किया employee ID के लिए. So I'm just using here 01. Okay, insert into department. Here you need to add values. Okay. Open bracket, close bracket. What is the first data? That is maybe 10 will put. Chalo. Department ID is 10 डाला है हमने. 10. Department name. Name आया तो फिर single quotation name is let's say HR. HR department. Job. Job is like अच्छा department name और job दोनों आ गया क्या? अच्छा two different things. Department name and job. I think दो related data हमने insert कर दिया. जॉब के लिए विल पुट लेट्स से हाई मीडियम लो ऐसा कुछ कर देंगे. हाई प्रोफाइल. ओके हाई कर देते. लेट्स हाई एंड देन हायर डेट. So date would be in the format of YYMMDD. So here we need to write, let's say 2023, 2021, whatever you want, 2021, 0205 maybe, and close the quotation. Okay, let's try executing the first one. Okay, let's do it one more time. Control V. Okay. आप कॉपी पेस्ट नहीं करना है, आप इसी स्टेटमेंट पे भी चेंजेस कर सकते हो. दिस इज 20. द डिपार्टमेंट इज लेट्स से एडमिन. Admin, I think I'll keep this as medium. The job profile is medium and the date is just 2022. This I'm changing as maybe 8 and this is my 12. And let's execute this. You're free to add the values of your choice. Now I'm replacing this data here. 30. The department is, let's say, sales. The job title is like medium. Okay. Your changes when it was formed in the year 2015 maybe. This is 7 and let's say this is your 10 and execute it. So after adding 3 rows to the data, the next is we'll try to check the data in the table. Okay, so these 3 rows are now available under the table department. Now for this also you can insert by the department table directly, do a right click, edit top to order. This is doable here. Fine, but I think 3 departments are okay. एक और add करना है, so let's do it one more. So 40 I'm skipping. I'm just making it 50 here, or I think let's go by sequence. 40 will keep. The department here is developer and the job title is high. And this was in the year, this person was hired in the year 27, 7, and let's make this as maybe 09. And let's execute it. So you can override the same command. So now we have 4 rows being inserted. Okay, so now when you execute both the tables together, today we have done little slow of insertion, but next time when we do the insert, I hope you should be aware कि कैसे insert करते हैं, and we can make it a little faster now. Okay, so now when you execute both the statements of your employees and department, the data is available. Okay, now I hope you all have completed till here. If you want me to wait, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move to next concept here. You can start making your personal notes as well. Okay, I am anyway saving this file, but अभी ज़्यादा practical होगा. मतलब this file I'll be using more for थोड़ा little bit concepts, some statements. But then just make sure if you go through recording, तब आपको ये file दिखेगा. Otherwise, maybe once we are done with today's session, जैसे Friday हो गया है, so every Friday I can load this file on the LMS portal. So how many are working in this batch? कितने लोग working हैं? So for Pranjal, I know you work in night shift, Pranjal.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what's your timing, Pranjal?
11 to 7.
Achha, 11 to 7. You
For
have
now, it would be 11 to 7 because the workload is not that much. But after a month or so, it would be 10 to 7.
Okay. Okay. I'm asking it for a reason. Others, Akash, Ashwin. For Rekha, I know. Krishna.
Yes, I'm working, ma'am.
What's the timing?
It's general shift, 10 to 6.
10 to 6. Shweta for you? Shweta, Ashwin?
Not working.
Not working. Why I'm asking this is because
Not working, ma'am.
not working. Okay, no problem. I'm just asking is because next week I have a corporate training. So it's only for 3 days. So it's like okay, June is ending today. July we will be starting on 6th, 7th. So that is Thursday, Friday till Wednesday I'm there. 6th, 7th and 10th. So I am in Pune only. Just that I have to leave early. The batch is entire day. Usually corporates kaise hota hai morning 10 to 2 or sometime 2 to 6. This time the corporate is for entire day. Okay, so I was just thinking entire day means I'll be leaving by 8 o'clock. I'll be reaching the location, coming back by 7 o'clock. So I was thinking if we can at least not skip the sessions instead of not taking it for 1.5 hours. If you're okay, hum log 8 to 9 kar sakte so that Pranjal can be ready for his office work, not making it 9 to 10. I understand it's the late evening. So I should reach by 7, 7:30. So I think only for this 3 days, instead of skipping the class, क्योंकि हमारा अभी regularity चल रहा है, so वो skip नहीं करना है. So I think not even 1 hour, at least 45 minutes we can sit on this 3 days, 6th, 7th and 10th. So I'm just pre-informing you. Rest of the month is empty for me. बाकी अभी कोई और trainings नहीं है मेरा corporate फिलहाल तो. But then I think 6th, 7th and 8th, if everybody's agree, maybe we can do it like at least 45 minutes in the evening so that the flow is maintained. Okay. Acha. So Pranjan is okay. Okay. Yeah. Main thing is from you only. Baki to I think they can adjust. Okay. So I'll put this message in group एक बार, and if we get maximum votes, हम लोग कर लेंगे. My only motto is कि skip नहीं करना है ना. And what is happening here? ये पूरा weekend आ रहा है फिर. So if I go to July once again, 6, 7, 8, 9, फिर long time duration हो गया यहाँ पे, and then 10. So वो 5 दिन देखो तो 5 दिन हो रहा है. And I know 5 days में थोड़ा ये हो जाए concepts इधर उधर ना हो जाए. So let's connect only 45 minutes. So while timing, I think we can keep it 8 to 8:45 ऐसा कुछ. So then you can continue. Okay. Only for three days baki, because what happens is for corporates I keep getting interviewed. I get interviewed and then the booking happens and then the dates they just come apparently. This interview I done I think in the month of May, but dates fix nahi hote. So that's how it happens. So I was not sure. मैंने आपके counselors को तो inform किया ही था. When we do a morning batch, कभी कभी हो सकता है change of timing. Now we have 2 data analytics batches working. वो weekend पे होते हैं. Basically I have 3 batches from different institutes. So उनका working ऐसे होता है. Morning 8 to 10:30 एक है. फिर afternoon 3 to 5:30 and then we have evening. It is specially for people who are working on weekends. कुछ है non-technical, technical background. They have Saturdays working. So weekends भी कभी कभी हो जाता है when I travel for, but then they manage on weekdays. So वो फिर वैसे मैनेज कर लेते हैं. Just because weekends में क्या होता है, only twice a week we meet, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. So उनको भी questions होते हैं. Even I have that कि टॉपिक्स होने चाहिए. सो डजंट मैटर अगर आप 2.5 घंटा भी बैठते हो वीकडेज में, आप सारे रिलेटेड कंसेप्ट क्लियर कर लेते हो. वीकडेज में भी ऐसी और ऐसी. इफ यू लुक हियर, हमने कल दोनों टेबल क्रिएट किए, इंसर्ट किया. सो इट डिपेंड्स. आई मीन बहुत लोगों को ऐसा होता है कि वीकडेज नहीं, ऑफलाइन. सो वी ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन देम and we try to give them. I think Radical ने भी एक नया प्रोसेस भी शुरू किया where they allow you 2 free demo sessions where you can directly just see 2 demo की how is the flow going. So we have requested them directly register करने के पहले. अगर ऐसा होता है so candidates can understand if they are not about the trainer's flow, but it's like also if they are capable of being a part of this. Because बहुत लोग हैं who just listen and do data analytics, Python कर लेते हैं, data science कर लेते हैं. So many people have met directly, they have done data science. You should never do it. वो होता है misguiding everywhere. It's like a marketing tendency. Directly आप coding tools पे जाते हो. So what the problem is, the base is not clear. Directly it's like in simple languages, आपको 1 2 3 4 नहीं पता है, आपको tables नहीं पता है, आप directly multiplication addition कर रहे हैं. That is what is data science. So data analytics करने के बाद data science, but I never recommend कि data science करना चाहिए. Data analytics is more than sufficient. वहां पे ना it's a higher level. So if you are doing data analytics, then you are doing a working project. Maybe एक project करो, 2 करो, doesn't matter. But वो live project करने के बाद you should go for a data science. I know बहुत सारे marketing से बाहर and they manipulate data science, but then at least एक project कर लो. हाँ, project नहीं करने मिल रहा है, नहीं लग रहा है job, because I know the market situation is still okay now. So do go internship. मैंने बहुत लोगों को internships भी बताया, which I keep getting on LinkedIn. LinkedIn profiles you'll create, one of the best platform. You can use it for your work. Naukri, Indeed and all, ये तो है ही. But then LinkedIn is just like, you can say, the platform where you can seek for work. You can connect to so many people, and it might not help you immediately, but long the run it will help you. So LinkedIn profile nahi hai, create karo and keep following people. You can follow so many people. You can go and request them for job. आप directly resume send कर सकते हो. So that's a very good platform. नहीं पता है profile create करना, let me know. Someday I'll give you background. So how to do it. तो ये सब चीजें हैं. And it keeps on happening. But data analytics का वही, अगर नहीं मिलता है वो kind of a work real time, go for internships. I think where you have to pay sometimes the client will pay. तो ऐसे summer internship, winter बहुत निकलते हैं. Sometimes it is for 1.5 months, sometimes for 2 months. But then it adds a star in your resume that you have done the course, because you're going to get a training certificate. Then you have done an internship. So that will enhance the profile. And then I think it will allow you to like get more calls. Resume building भी होता है. So which when we go to universities in interviews, when we go, my panel goes, when we see this interviews in office also. So usually what happens is resume में इतनी चीजें डाल के रखी होती है ना, the main point which we want to search, वो छोड़ के everything is there. So resume should always be crisp. जितना मैंने experience किया है resume से सबका पढ़ के, nobody will read the entire resume. Even see, I have 12-13 experience year. मेरा resume is only of 2 page only, because nobody have such a lot of time कि वो पूरा scan करे. Now every day if you see, HRs receive almost like 100, minimum 100 resumes, I'm telling you. Now what process do they follow? Just because I've been working very close to HR, so I know they have this softwares. I don't know the name of the software exactly, पर एक सॉफ्टवेयर होता है जहां पे वो पूरे रिज्यूम्स को डंप करते हैं, एंड इट विल सर्च, दैट सॉफ्टवेयर विल सर्च बेसिकली बेस्ड ऑन द हैशटैग. जैसे भी हैशटैग का इंपॉर्टेंस बहुत होता है, सो वो जो हैशटैग आपके जेडी में है, जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन में जो भी है, वो ही रिलेटेड वो सर्च करते हैं उस रिज्यूम्स के अंदर. सो लेट्स से आपके 100 में से कुछ 60-70 शॉर्टलिस्ट हो रहे हैं, इट इज मैचिंग टू व्हाट यू आर रिक्वेस्टेड इन द जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन. फिर वो 60-70 में से अगेन दे स्कैन बेस्ड ऑन द एक्सपीरियंस, व्हाट एक्सपीरियंस यू वांट for that employee, maybe 5 to 6, 4 to 5. फिर वो और स्कैन होके 60 से हो जाता है 50, 45, एंड आउट ऑफ दोस 45 देन दे सी कि मोस्ट रेलेवेंट कौन सा है, एंड वो 45 का आई थिंक 40 भी होता है. देन दे सेंड ईमेल्स, डिवाइड करते हैं एचआर 20-20 में, दे सेंड द ईमेल्स. अब वो 40 में से यू हैव ओनली 10-15 हु रिपोर्ट, एंड दैट्स हाउ द स्कैनिंग हैपेंस. So that is why वो resume में सारी चीजें मत डालो. If you put everything, what secrets will you have with you to speak in the call? जो हम लोगों ने बहुत देखा है, not recently, but last year when we were doing this video call interviews because of COVID and all, it was all video call. So experienced people also, they make such a big resume. Nobody have that much of time कि आपने बहुत लिखा तो you know very much. नहीं तो वही, तो अब आपका जब रिज्यूम अभी जो भी होगा, अभी डेटा एनालिस्ट हम लोग सीख रहे हैं, व्हाट एवर इज योर बेसिक रिज्यूम, पीपल हु आर फ्रेशर, डू नॉट वरी, यू कैन पुट द रिज्यूम एज अ ट्रेनर. आपने ट्रेनिंग किया है, यू आर नॉट वेस्टेड योर टाइम. सो मेक श्योर कि आप लिंक्डइन में अपलोड करो. सो व्हेन यू upload it, you get to know कि प्रोफाइल विजिट्स और आई थिंक नौकरी पे, आई एम नॉट श्योर, यू डोंट गेट टू सी ना प्रोफाइल विजिट्स की, पता चलता है? आई थिंक पता नहीं चलता है ना नौकरी पे. नहीं ना. हाँ हाँ, नौकरी पे ये पता चलता है ना, बट व्हेन यू डाउनलोड, कोई डाउनलोड किए तो हाँ आई थिंक, हाँ करेक्ट, डाउनलोड करे तो दिखता है, बट नोबडी व्हेन, हाँ विजिटर्स नहीं दिखते, बिकॉज मैंने बहुत टाइम से यूज भी नहीं किया नौकरी. बट इट्स लाइक कि हाँ ये बहुत एक कैप्चरिंग है, एंड करंट मार्केट इज वेरी गुड फॉर दैट. तो आप वो करो. अभी तो रिज्यूम हमारा जो भी है हम लोग देखेंगे लास्ट में, बट देन ग्रेजुअली यू डू इट, सो विल बी हेल्पिंग यू फॉर दैट. ठीक है ना. ओके, लेट्स गेट बैक टू योर डेटाबेसेस. ठीक है. ओके, नाउ नेक्स्ट इज वी आर गोइंग टू सी, अब दोनों टेबल्स को हमको लिंक करना है. दोनों टेबल्स हमने बना दिए, इंसर्ट टेबल्स को क्रिएट किया, डेटाबेस को क्रिएट किया, टेबल को क्रिएट किया, डेटा को इंसर्ट किया इन द कॉलम्स, एंड नाउ द डेटा इज विजिबल हियर. नाउ one thing which we need to add to this table to connect them is the common key. So do we have a common key? See, we have employee ID, department ID, employee name, department names, and rest 2 columns, but we do not have a common column here. So what is my requirement here? Whenever you want to connect 2 tables together, you need to have a common column, linking column. So if I just take the example between you and me, you wanted to learn data analytics, and then I know a bit of data analytics, so I'm trying to pass this knowledge. So who is the linking key? Radical is the linking key, or your counselors are the linking key between both of us. That is how in entire data analytics, आप किसी भी tool के साथ में काम करो, चाहे वो Power BI हो, Tableau हो, पाइथन हो, या आपका डेटाबेसेस हो, टू कनेक्ट और टू मेक द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द टेबल्स, हमेशा यही प्रोसेस फॉलो होगा. यू नीड टू हैव अ कॉमन कॉलम. ओके, अब वो कॉमन कॉलम एक चाहिए, 2 डजंट मैटर. इवन इफ यू हैव 1 कॉमन कॉलम, you are able to make the relationship between 2 tables together. But if you see in the department table and employee table, we do not have a common column. You do have department and employee ID, but then they are not common. They are the respective primary keys of their table. So हम लोगों ने department ID को primary key define नहीं किया, but ultimately we can see कि हाँ वो प्राइमरी की बन सकता है. सो दैट इज हाउ वी हैव द प्राइमरी की कॉन्सेप्ट हियर. नाउ फॉरेन की हम लोग यूज करने वाले. सो फॉरेन की का मतलब क्या होता है? जैसे आपका एम्प्लॉय आईडी टेबल एम्प्लॉय में से उठ के आने वाला है डिपार्टमेंट टेबल में. सो इट्स लाइक माय मैनेजर हु इज सिटिंग इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, ही इज कमिंग टू इंडिया फॉर बिजनेस मीटिंग्स. सो ही इज कमिंग फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रेलिया टू इंडिया, सो वी आर रेफरिंग हिम एज फॉरेनर. सिमिलरली आपके एम्प्लॉय टेबल में से जब एम्प्लॉय आईडी डिपार्टमेंट टेबल में आएगा, सो अल्टीमेटली दिस टू टेबल्स विल गेट कनेक्टेड with the column, that common column, that is employee ID. And at the same time वो कॉलम क्या करेगा, दोनों को रिलेशनशिप बनाएगा. हम उसको रेफर करेंगे फॉरेन की के साथ में. बट करंटली इफ यू सी वी डोंट हैव अ कॉमन कॉलम, तो कॉमन कॉलम उसमें डालने के लिए वी हैव द स्टेटमेंट विच सेज ऑल्टर, एंड ऑल्टर कम्स अंडर द DDL स्टेटमेंट. पहला वाला स्टेटमेंट DDL मीन्स डेटा डेफिनेशन, DML मीन्स डेटा मैनिपुलेशन, जिसमें इंसर्ट, अपडेट, डिलीट होता है. आपको डेटा के स्ट्रक्चर के साथ में चेंज करना है, ऑल्टर करना है. अब ऑल्टर का मतलब क्या है, नॉर्मल इंग्लिश मीनिंग ऑल्टर मीन्स ऑल्टरेशन. ऑलरेडी कुछ अवेलेबल है, उस पर आप चेंजेस कर रहे हो, right? So when you want to make the change to the structure, it will belong to the language DDL, data definition language. Okay, so how will we do it? So alteration करने के multiple ways है हमारे पास. So let's say if I am missing a column or if I want to add a column, you can do it with the help of your alteration. So my type would be add. Okay, we can also do modify, but modify doesn't work in your SQL Server database. किसी और में modify होता है. We can also drop. आपने अगर कुछ क्रिएट किया है, आपको कोई कॉलम ड्रॉप करना है, रिमूव करना है, यू कैन डू इट, एंड देन यू कैन रीनेम अ पर्टिकुलर टेबल एज वेल, अ कॉलम ऑफ अ टेबल. ओके, सो दिस ऑल कैन बी डन विद द ऑल्टर स्टेटमेंट्स. ऑल्टर, आपके पास ऑलरेडी चीजें एग्जिस्टिंग है, टेबल एग्जिस्टिंग है, and then you're trying to make the changes. So the very first is add column. Okay, add, delete, modify. I can also put here delete. So यहाँ पे delete भी चलेगा. ठीक है. Now let's go with the syntax here. Like how does the syntax looks like for add? Very, very easy syntax. So the syntax here is alter. That is my keyword. Alter table. Alter table, table name, create table, table name. So जैसे ही alter table, and now you will be having the table name here. So the table name would be in our case department. Okay, alter table, table name, create table, table name. But what exactly you want to alter to the existing table? I want to add a column, a new column. So that will be column name. और column name हम जब define करते हैं, add करते हैं, immediately it should be followed with your data type. ठीक है. So easy statement, alter table, table name. This table name will be name of the table which you want to modify. Then this will be the name of the column which you need to highlight. And the moment you talk about the column name, it is always followed by the data type. Okay, then the syntax for others goes as same. आपको add के जगह drop लिखना है, drop के जगह modify. Modify does not work in your SQL server. आपको rename करना है, rename का I think different process है, अभी कुछ update हुआ है, and delete के लिए delete. Okay, so just the keywords will keep on changing here. So alter table, table name, किस table पे करना है, क्या changes करना है, add, modify, delete, drop, and then the column name, and then we are picking up your data type. So I'm just doing Control C here, going back to tab. So whenever you get time in the day or on the weekends, because today will be the last session of the week, just make sure आप सारा revise करते हो एक बार. So next time when you come, definitely we will be having more concepts. So now we are doing basics. Slowly we'll move to intermediate, then advanced. So just make sure कि थोड़ा आप एक बार revise कर लेते हो, because again there are more applications to come in. Okay, so alter table, table name. Which table we want to alter? कहाँ पे modification करने हैं? That is your employees table. So sorry, not employees, department. Okay. Now, what you want to add in department? You want to add employee underscore ID, EMPID. And what is the data type? The data type is integer. INT. Now, in few databases, you have to add semicolon after the confirmation or after the statement is written. Basically, to end the statement. In SQL Server, आपने semicolon दिया, that's okay. Even if you do not give semicolon, even that is okay, because your query will be executed. But for other databases, quite a very few databases जिसमें compulsion है कि आपको colon semicolon देना ही है. But MySQL server will work with both. Okay. Now again blue color means they are predefined. Add predefined है, ये आपका integer है, ये आपके again keywords है. So I want to add and alter the data that is employee ID. So it is saying one query completed, and we would like to go and check the original table for the column being introduced, that is employee ID. Okay, just do it till here. And now it is coming null. See, first thing, first change, the column is added, the statement is correct, and now the data is null. Null means nothing is being added here. You have the privilege to add it. Okay, so we'll use the shortcut method, going to department table and clicking on edit 200 rows. And now employee, we will add only those employee ID जो हमारे पास में already available है यहाँ पे. Correct? So 101, 102, 3, 4. That's the same we are going to add it here because that column is coming from employee table to department table. So we have to follow the same here. 101, 102. This is not a separate column which we have added here. 101, 102, 103, and like 104. And if you want to execute it, just execute by execute select statement. You will just do it till here. I'll just connect my charger.
Ma'am,
Yes, bolo.
mine is not reflecting when I did edit.
एक मिनट हाँ you did edit किया. Wait, let me also check the my system. Okay, wait. So this is
Yes, it is reflecting here below,
okay.
but it is not reflecting as I selected edit 200 column.
Okay, wait. I'll just do it for my system and I'll give you the option to share the screen. 104. Execute and do it here. Okay, let's execute it one more time. Sure. Okay, show. Okay, I'll stop the share. You take the control.
This is visible over here, but when I do in department top row, it is not reflecting.
This is a trial version. No, department. Acha, it is not coming only. What you do is, Pranjan, close this application, open once again.
Okay.
Close it. Yes, kar do. Yes, you want to save the queries. ठीक है. Make a folder if you have SQL. Okay, am I audible now?
Should I share again?
Yes, the electricity went off, na? So I connected from my mobile phone once again. Okay, yes, you share the screen. Let me just stop it. Yes. Go to databases, left hand side. SQL, tables. Is it this case with somebody else as well? Go to department. Hmm. Okay, go to columns. Employee ID is added. Okay, now do the file. Write the query here. Select star from department. Because of trial versions, no, it happens sometimes. You will see some kind of a weird behaviors in your Power BI also, but then still we can manage. So put department. Now what you do is, no, Shweta, you have to select the table from there. It is master. The table is where in the database, SQL database. Correct? Change it and now execute it. Just press execute. Okay. So now you're getting it. Now let's go back to department. Do a right click.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So these are few weird tricks which we do and you get it back. Now you can insert the data. Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
take the control. No problem. Anybody else? Are you able to see? So if you have the same problem like here, this is how you can just change and close the system and get it back. So the problem was वो refresh नहीं हो रहा था. The data was there, the column was added, it was not getting reflected. Okay. Now just we'll do quickly the statement of connecting your primary table in the foreign key, and then I think it should be good for the day. So I think I'm losing the connectivity. Electricity is on and off. Let's connect on Monday. We'll start it from there. And then I upload some. I'm stopping the session here. Even my battery is not getting charged because of this electricity. So we'll connect on Monday and we'll continue from the topic of foreign keys. Okay. So thank you so much for joining in. Have a great weekend. Any questions you have, feel free to put that into the group as well. I'll pick it up. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.